What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And today we have got to talk about this Kaspa price action and the chart. But before we jump straight into the analysis, let me remind you that this is not financial advice. Anything I say or do in this video could cause you great financial calamity, so don't be stupid. Make your own decisions about how you want to lose your money. Okay, but in all seriousness, let's jump straight to the chart and have a look at what we see, and I'll share my thoughts. Here we are on the 4-hour chart, and what do we see but a breakout of a bull flag that I have been seeing forming for the past few days. About 4 days ago, I was thinking there was a 50-50 chance of this breaking to the top side or continuing the correction. And it looks like we have confirmation that we are breaking to the top side. We also have a new line, this ascending line, this blue line on the chart. We'll talk about that. And price currently is sitting exactly on this line. I drew this days ago, and right now, as I'm shooting this video, we are at the exact point of intersection of current candle, and this ascending blue line. We'll talk about that more. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we see some bullish indications. Number one, we got this crazy stochastic that keeps on trying to cross over bearish, and then it climbs back up. We had two fake outs here, and we just had a bearish fake number 2, and now a bullish cross as the blue line, the fast line of the stochastic oscillators, is now above the orange line. And we are above this 80 line, which takes us out of this purpley zone here, where we are officially in overbought territory. This is the bullish zone here when we're surging upwards. Okay, so bullish on the 4-hour stochastic and also bullish on the 4-hour MACD. Let's just look at these MACD oscillators. Let me zoom this up a little bit. And you can see that we have an overall trend that's moving upwards since the 28th of August. So we have this continuously rising set of oscillators, and each cycle we get a new high point. Here's high point number 1, 2, 3, now 4, and then we have a bullish cross where the blue line, the fast line, is above the orange, and it is diverging away from the orange line, which says that we're going to continue to climb at this point because we have positive momentum. Also, you've got dark green candle or a bar on the histogram where we kind of didn't even make it back below the zero line to print more red bars, and now we're surging up again. Now let's just move right on to the 1-day chart because this is a little bit more easy to see, and you can see what I've done with this ascending line. So I made this long line, and what this line is comprised of is a touchdown point here combined with this previous high point and then the launch point of this bull flag, well, at the beginning point of the pennant here before this breakout. It served as support after this bull flag breakout. It also served as a pivot point where it was resistance. We came up to the line, resistance again, and now we're testing it for the second time or third time. So once, twice, this is number 3. Where does it go from here? Is it going to break through that line where it might become support, or will it be resistance? Well, the indicators are saying that it is going to be support because as it was on the 4-hour chart, the 1-day chart shows us yet another bullish crossover of the oscillators on the stochastic. First, we thought we were done as we peaked out right there. And you see where the blue line crossed over the orange and started to head downward. Well, guess what? It decided it wasn't done. A lot of buying pressure came in, and now the blue line has crossed over the orange one again. Now, I see a flag. Let me draw the flag for you. When I was looking at this, it seemed that we had pole here. And then we had this nice little flag when you connect lows here and then bring that down, projecting from the high. And that looks like a bull flag. Some people don't believe in TA and would rather bang their heads on the wall than to see the obvious clues as to where price could more than likely go. But I like to use these indicators, even though it's not 100% guaranteed. You can never bet the farm on it, but it just tells you what the more probable next move is going to be. Now, when we look at the MACD, it's kind of the same here. We had this big high at the all-time high, and we had this high point of the oscillators at the next all-time high. And one thing I've noticed is that we are matching the all-time high, and we're just a slight tick above it. Notice how the last time we hit the all-time high, we wicked out. All right, the candle closed at a price of approximately 5 cents even. And if it's not 5 cents, maybe 5.05. Okay. And now we're sitting at a price of 5.1799. So we are above that close, the candle close of the previous all-time high, where we did wick all the way up to 5.15 cents. Let's just zoom in on this and let me clear the drawing. And then we will zoom in. Let's stretch this up so we can get a better idea of this high point. Okay, so here's where we wicked up to 0.0518, and we are currently at 0.05179. So we're not quite at the high, the previous all-time high, where the wick is concerned. But this is bullish because if this candle closes and does not wick out, then this will be a more significant all-time high, even though it's at just about the same price, because previously we wicked and then the candle closed before that high point. It looks like we could close this candle out because of the positioning of the stochastic. Look at this. We had a reversal from bearish going down to a new crossover, which says it's going up. And then look at the oscillators down here. The fast blue line started to curl over, and then it just glanced right back up. It is running parallel to the slow line. We had several reversals of the bars on the histogram where we went from solid green to light green, solid green to light green, now solid again. Solid means moving up away from the zero line. The light green means it's going back towards the zero line. So we have a combination of two bullish indications. Number one, a crossover headed in the bullish direction. Let's get an arrow here. All right, that's indication number one. Indication number two is the divergence of the fast and the slow line here. Indication number three is the dark green bar on the histogram. All right, so that's not too bad. That's three indications that say we're probably going to move higher. 1, 2, and 3. Now, as I said before, it's not 100% guaranteed, but it just lets us know that the probability, if you're going to roll the dice right now, is not 50-50. It's probably 60-40. So if I were to draw a line right here, okay, here's our line of demarcation, the chances of moving upwards from this line is greater than the chances of continuing into the correction. Now, at some point, it is going to correct. And here's what my best guess is on what will happen when we correct. Okay, now we could crawl up above this line and then we could come back down and it becomes support. Let's extend this up a little bit right here. So here's your possibility. All right, let's just draw on the line. We could get a price line that if we blow through this, we could surge up here and then come back down, and we could bounce on this as support. Since we had resistance here, and then we blew through it right here. Okay, so now it could flip to support. All right, but then once that is done, the next time we correct, what I'm thinking is our correction point could mean the top of the previous support and resistance zone. That thing right here. See this box? What this means is no matter what we do up here, if we go something like this and then bounce there and keep going up, if we have a correction and we fail this line, the worst case scenario means it could return down to this box where it would turn into support, and then we could jump off from there if we moved back down that far, because there's no guarantee that we could go back down to 4.2 cents. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now, if we did jump back down to that zone and it is not support, what could happen? Well, let's just say we come up and then we blow back through our ascending line, that pivot line, and we get back into this zone and it fails. Well, we've got a very nice new zone that is now coming clear on the chart. And here it is right here. I've just got two blue lines for right now, just to let me know that this could be a zone of action. But I'm not going to make it into a box unless we get down to that point and I see evidence that it becomes a new support resistance zone. So if we fall out of this one up top, we could come down and this could become support, or it jumps up, or worst case scenario, we go back to where the 200 EMA line is. If we correct all the way down to this rising bullish 200 EMA, I'm thinking that's going to be the absolute point of support. So let's say whatever we do here, okay, if we do have a final nice correction, we're probably going to bounce off of this line. All right. I don't think we'll see a reversal in this current parallel trading channel, this bullish parallel trading channel, unless we get a black swan event or some really negative news and the whole market turns around. But we know Kaspa does not like to abide by the rules of the rest of the market. It tends to do its own thing. But let's just put this on a 1 week chart so we can identify this zone here. I'm going to make this real simple for you. Okay, and you can see now that you've got a parallel zone. Let's just kind of draw it out here. Here's what it looks like to me. This is a zone, and we're bouncing up and down within this zone. So let's draw in the zone here. We come down, we bounce, we move up off of this pivot line that I have in here, and notice how my zone is parallel to that pivot line. That's why that pivot line is important. We move up to the top of the zone, we go back below the pivot line, we bounce up, and now we're back to the pivot line. So until we have evidence that we break this zone, I'm going to say that we're bullish. All right, now if we extend the zone, I'm going to tell you where we would have to violate this in order to say, yeah, things are flipping bearish. Let's just get that put in there, and let's go back to the 1 day. Zoom this up. So here it is. Notice how magically this parallel trading zone that I just put on this chart, how it magically coincides with the 200 EMA. Do you see this 200 EMA line right here? And look at my parallel trading zone right there, my channel. So in other words, for us to change the whole direction of where we're going, we're going to have to fail the 200 EMA. And I kind of don't see that as the greater possibility. But if it did happen, then you would draw some new lines. And so here's what it would look like. In order to say that we flipped bearish, we're going to have price move up and then price move down and fail this line, this ascending line of the parallel trading channel, and it would have to fail this extension that I'm drawing here of the 200 EMA. And then at that point, I would say, okay, we have a new channel that could form where it would be a corrective channel. And then you would have price bouncing around within the corrective channel, and then as soon as it violates the upper line, you know you're going to start a new swing channel up. That's just how I track everything, okay? That's how you kind of see through the forest and make sense of all this. So going back to the 1 week, we're looking very, 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 very bullish overall. Look at the whole movement of this thing. Since I've started trading Kaspa, which was back when price was somewhere around 0.0015. Okay, that's when I started buying, and I was swing trading, buying and selling. And I took all the gains, and I have not sold anything since I bought it all back somewhere around 0.004. But I started out with 20,000 Kaspa, then I had 40,000, then I sold a little, then I bought a little, then I had 60, sold the whole shooting match, and then I bought it all back, and I made enough gains to end up with 100,000 Kaspa. Actually, I have 102,750 or something like that. But that was just from swing trading, and now I'm done swing trading because I'm not willing to take any more chances of getting left if I sell at a point that it never comes back down to that price. So overall, we have this big fat bullish movement up just like that. This looks like the beginning days of Bitcoin, in my opinion. And the reason why I'm not going to play with this anymore is because this is the best investment I've made, which is not investment advice, since missing out on Bitcoin at $1 way back when. I think when I first discovered Bitcoin, it wasn't, a year or two after the inception of Bitcoin, when it was trading at $1. And I went to sleep on it and didn't rediscover crypto until 2017. So this is my second chance, because it seems to me that Kaspa is the only project out there that has the capability to do something monumental that no other project has done. It's got the speed. It's got the new concept of the block DAG. It still has proof of work and has scalability. And the only one that, to this point, has truly solved the blockchain trilemma. Look that up. You need to learn about that. That's why Kaspa is significant. Last but not least, on this 1 week chart, since I have it up here, this crossover right here, this is significant. Okay, look at that. That's significant. That's a bullish crossover, and it's not done yet because we haven't even entered into the oversold zone up here in positive territory. And what can happen is this. We had the first stochastic peak here, gave us an all-time high. Next, we have the low of the 1 week stochastic cycle, and it had a higher low here. Then we had the next stochastic peak, new all-time high. The next stochastic low point before a major crossover right here, higher low, and now here we are again. And I'm thinking that with the positioning of this stochastic on the 1 week, we're going to probably push up towards the top of this channel and make another all-time high. Now, let's see if we can get a price of that. Since we're dreaming here, it looks like somewhere around 8 cents at the top of this channel before we correct. Now, there'll be a little bit moving in between before we have that surge, but that surge is going to happen. And then after that point, we'll correct and hopefully stay within this channel, this new ascending channel that I just put on the chart right before your very eyes. So we'll keep a watch, and we'll be chatting about this in my Telegram group, where we're having some pretty good discussions. Let me pull up the Telegram group. We've been talking about Kaspa for the last few days, having a little conversation with my man Aviad. Shout out to Aviad. Also, we got Val in the house from Russia. Woo! Val, who, man, he's got a big fat bag. I am a Kaspa shark because I have 1,000 or 100,000. Val's sitting on what, 1 million? Not to tell your business. He had a whole lot more than that before. I think he had like 11 million Kaspa. So at any rate, we're having fun talking about Kaspa in the group. You're welcome to come on in and join us for that discussion if you want to. You have an open invite. But until then, I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. And if you would like to help support me in defraying the high cost of producing these videos, you may do so with the giving of a super thanks. I owe you a live feed, a live broadcast. It's coming soon where we're going to talk cryptos and take your requests. And I'm probably going to start doing more of this because I really do need to raise quite a bit of money to keep paying these big fat bills for my internet and all of my subscriptions, because I like doing this. So that is going to happen. That's all I've got for now. This is Carlton, and I am out.